Our first guest today is Tom Burke, who's here to talk to us about the crime series Strike. The 5th series concludes tonight on BBC One. And in this story, called Troubled Blood, the private detective Strike, played by Burke, is approached by a woman asking for help to find her mother, who went missing in 1974 when a psychopathic serial killer was at large. Here's a clip.
Go on, just try it. Mush peas. Yorkshire caviar.
It's just wrong.
Well, they have to be mush, otherwise they'd roll off the chips. See, we've thought of everything. Soft southerny you are.
A good sword and a trusty hand, a merry heart and true. King James's men shall understand what Cornish lads can do.
What was that?
Song of the Western Men.
And I'm very pleased to say that Tom Burke joins us now. Festive greetings to you, Tom.
Festive greetings to you. I think that's the first time I've heard myself sing on the radio.
Right. OK, I feel that I do know some people at Radio 1 if you want to do a live lounge session.
Yeah, let's do the whole song.
Yeah? Yeah. What would be your cover song? If you were to go into the live lounge on Radio 1, Tom, and they would say to you, of course, we do your original composition first and then do a cover version. What would that cover version be? What's your kind of karaoke special?
I mean, I'm actually lying down, so I'm in the perfect sort of posture to go into extreme overshare.
Nice.
But
Nice.
I'm just going to resist the urge completely. I don't know, and I wouldn't like to say.
OK. Wow, you're lying down. That, of course, prompts further questions, to be fair, Tom.
To be honest, it's partly to do with just the logistics. I don't have a particularly long charger cable, and I'm doing this on my phone.
So that's it. You don't usually do...
That's as salacious as this one's going to get.
Oh, right, OK, because my follow-up question, which was veering into the realms of OnlyFans, was what were you wearing while lying down? But you did say that's about as salacious as it gets. So
this happened to me this morning as well, because I was doing an
you
interview.
were lying down with Tom Burke?
No,
right.
I'm distancing myself from this
I know.
conversation.
Where is this going?
I was doing an interview this morning and I was lying down because it was very early in the morning.
Right.
And
okay.
it was because I had my phone connected to the cable. So I was just doing a chat. But then I realised that they wanted a video interview. So then I realised I had to not only go horizontal, but also get changed before answering the phone call. Anyway, that's an overshare.
So this is how ready are you for Christmas, Tom?
Oh, more than usual, I think. I've been to at least one carol service. So I think I'm in quite a good.
Is that how you measure readiness for Christmas? The amount of carol?
Yes, because usually I just wouldn't get to any, or
I see.
Or it just suddenly creeps up from nowhere, and I'm aware that it's actually Christmas Eve, even though I hadn't.
And presents purchased for loved ones. That's all sorted.
Lots of stocking fillers purchased, not the more sizable main items, but that's to be done.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we need to get this interview, mate, because are you going to do this today? Are you planning on doing
No, I'm going to probably tomorrow, actually.
Okay.
I'm probably going to just stay in bed the rest of the day. No, I have a prolific output of things. So, yeah, I'm sure I'll be very busy the rest of the day.
In what ways in real life are you singularly ill-suited to be a good private detective, would you say?
Well, I rely so heavily on other people's deadlines in terms of... I'm very glad that I'm essentially a kind of freelancing person who does things to commission, because if I was doing things off my own bat, I don't think I never feel in the right mood. I never feel in the zone to be creative. It's only sort of retrospectively I think, well, I was actually couldn't have been further from the mood that day, but, it all counts for nothing. So I think the thing of setting one's own deadlines, which I imagine comes into private detectory, would be a problem.
What about subterfuge? Are you any good at that? Are you good
I've
at kind of
gone
following
blank about
people?
what that means.
Well, if just being kind of secret squirrel type person. Yeah.
I did a lot of research into this, and it all went for nothing. Because actually, when you get on set and you're trying to tell a story very quickly, you can't really go into the reality sort of detail of, if you're following somebody, you don't even stay on the same side of the street as them. You don't look at them directly. That all falls apart when you're trying to tell the story that this person is following this person, and you've got 2 or 3 setups to do it in a section that's probably no more than 10 seconds long. So, but it's in the back of my mind somewhere, all that stuff.
What's the research that you did that was
ultimately... I spoke to somebody who works in surveillance.
Oh.
Surveilling, and I have a friend who's in the British Metropolitan Police, and I spoke a bit to him, but it was funnily enough, the conversation started with the first person for another job entirely, but it kind of overlapped into this one.
Scott?
I heard that you starred in the most recent series alongside your own mum. What was that like?
It was a lot of fun because she's a very fun human being, and she's an immensely talented human being, and we'd never been able to do that before. And the producer Ruth rang me quite early on and said, well, we're thinking about casting your mum, and I just assumed it was to play my aunt Joan. And she said no, and my mum's playing well, I don't want to give anything else away, but it's certainly not family.
Hayley?
A weird coincidence. I was watching an episode of Sherlock Holmes the other night with your dad in it.
Yes.
For those who don't know, David Burke played Watson during the Jeremy Brett era Sherlock Holmes. Was it daunting to have parents who are actors, as well as your godparents being actors? Or did acting as a career feel more achievable because you'd seen it done before?
Not at all. I mean, my godfather's career was really kind of taking off in the 80s, but my dad, having done Sherlock Holmes, was having a pretty good theatre career, but for a time it was very hard for him to get back into television. My mum took a lot of time out just to be a mum, and faced an incredibly sort of tough period of trying to get back into regular work, and I was aware of that. Most of their friends were incredibly talented, but nevertheless jobbing actors who, many of whom didn't have the careers they deserved. So I felt like I had a whole kind of panorama of different ways careers could go. It's lovely now. I'm sort of meeting very kind of avant-garde American movie directors, and they're all completely aware of my dad's Dr. Watson. But it's funny, I for 10, 15 years working in British television, I'd never heard anybody mention that series. I think it's better known in Europe and in America than it is here.
Were there any warnings? Were there any warnings from family about the potential pitfalls of going into the trade that you've decided to go into?
Well, I was offered I won't say what, but I was offered a kind of sidekick in a detective series many years ago that was quite a long-running one, and I turned it down, and it was partly on my dad. As much as he loved Jeremy and loved playing Watson for the time he did get a bit bored of saying "Good heavens, Holmes."
Right.
And wanted to have a more varied career than that at the time than that offered, and wanted to do theatre.
How does that? Because to give the stability of a returning series, and also with some of the streaming services, Tom, you're kind of locked in for a few years. Is that a kind of automatic no-no for you then?
What?
Being locked into when someone offers you a part and they says, right, this is going to be a returning series, right, and this is going to be the next X years of your life.
No, not at all. Right. No, okay. I very nearly took another one recently. I did have to have a bit of a reality check with myself that I was in the cushy position of being in a TV show that doesn't go every year, and that I enjoy immensely, and so there's a lot of freedom that comes with that with being able to go. I mean, we won't do another strike now for at least a year, so I have time to go off and do other things, which isn't possible when you're locked into something that's going year after year after year.
Scott?
I read that you have talked about your dyslexia before, and I'm also dyslexic too. So I'm sort of intrigued about what are the sort of the challenges that you sometimes experience with dyslexia in terms of being an actor, but also are there any advantages that come too? Because usually I find that dyslexia can actually have some advantages.
Well, I've heard various theories over the years, and it's not something I've gone into a great deal. But I gather there's a sort of sliding scale between dyslexic and I guess you'd call it lexic, and that people kind of more on the dyslexic side are more perhaps more able to kind of think in a less kind of formal way, and maybe more able to kind of work on a kind of fuzzy logic. And I guess that's helpful. It was never, it was a long time before I read a book, but as soon as I kind of got the bug of that, it wasn't a problem. It was usually a numerical, mathematical thing with me. And I have to say that doesn't come into my job a great deal. I think James Mason's advice to film actors was never ask questions, never make suggestions, and never know what the time is. And I never do seem to know what the time is. It's quite good. It sort of helps the day go quicker.
Do you subscribe to either of the two first points from James Mason?
No, I'm afraid to say I don't. I make many suggestions. And Susan Tully's very good at sort of taking the useful ones and dispensing with the ones that are less so. She's got great taste for when things need a comedic beat, but I think on more than one occasion she said that's great, but maybe do it less.
All right, Hayley.
Well, I've got quite a lowbrow question. Do you think a big coat is essential for being a good TV detective? Because you've got a pretty good one in this.
Yeah, I've clung to it like a sort of social crutch in the course of the show. If not that, then lighting cigarettes and smoking them like they're going out of fashion. So, yeah, it's been of great use to me. It does seem to go with the territory of the genre, doesn't it?
It does.
Scott?
We were talking earlier about sort of Christmas TV. Are there any sort of festive Christmas TV traditions that you have in your household that you have to watch every single year without fail, even if you know everything that happens within them?
Yes, but I genuinely don't know how this started. I have a thing. I watch The Shining on Christmas Day every year. I guess one could say it's seasonal.
Yeah, it's
you're stuck inside and it's
without
cold
being
outside.
festive. Yeah, there's a lot of snow in it.
I also find it very funny.
It is.
So,
right, as you are lying down, Tom, should we just venture into the psychology of this, Tom, while you are lying down?
Yes.
Wow.
I'm stunned.
Take me back.
Okay, how old were you when you first watched The Shining? Did you grow up in a household where, age ratings were just a suggestion?
No, I didn't actually. They were quite big on age ratings, so it wouldn't have been that long ago. And I sort of got into, oh God, this really is psychiatrist catch now. For some reason, I got into horror in my early 30s. It was like a sudden. Oh. I think a lot of people. God, I'm just going to philosophize now.
Yeah, go on.
I get that it's a thing of like late teens, and a lot of horror movies are about people in their late teens, because I think when you're leaving school, there's a kind of fear of the outside world, and it's something sort of very quick fire cathartic about seeing the worst possible scenario played out. I didn't feel that scared when I left school. I felt incredibly excited and incredibly keen to kind of be in London and various things. So I don't know. But for some reason that fear hit me later on in life, and I think that was when I went through a spree of needing that kind of thing.
So how many people gather around to watch The Shining?
Just me usually.
Okay, it's not after the turkey.
Sort of other people coming in and out offering me cups of tea. It's not a communal thing.
Okay.
And is it quite late at night? Is it first thing in the morning?
No, kind of like that kind of, I don't know, that sort of 4 o'clock post-meal lull, depending on when you've eaten.
Just before
Do you
Shipley's
have a favourite bit?
Yes, I think it's the scene with the sort of strange butler character in the sort of gents' loos, from what I remember.
Oh, yes. Okay, so
just
people
the way
just know
Nicholson's face is kind of gurning. Just makes me laugh every time.
So people know that around 4 o'clock, Tom's off to go and watch The Shining every Christmas Day.
Yeah, usually, if not Christmas Day, Boxing Day.
Wow. This is.
I think this is a good tradition.
Yeah.
This is much better than anything I've heard before.
I hope someone's going to clip this and play this out at film schools or psychology courses for years to come. What has been your favourite TV of 2022, Tom? Have you had much time to sit down and binge on stuff?
No, but I've really enjoyed Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday's so good.
That's the
I'm really
Addams
enjoying
Family
that.
series.
Yes. What's the name? Ortega, the actor that plays the central character. Yeah, who's just also done a drama completely different involved in school shootings in America. Like it's around the bonding between her and one of the kind of popular girls after a school shooting takes place, and both of them hide in the bathroom when this is happening, and then how their lives pan out afterwards. She's an extraordinary actor. Jenna Ortega, there you go. Jenna Ortega.
Yeah. And the writing's great. I think it's very witty. It's very funny.
Oh, that is brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant. And my 13-year-old daughter is a huge fan of that. Okay, Tom, it's been wonderful speaking to you while you've been lying on your back, dreaming of the comedy The Shining, which you'll be watching this weekend.
Yeah, should we do this every week now?
Do you mind? Have you got time?
No, I'm fine for it. Yeah.
Okay,
great.
Cool. I'd like to do that. I think you need it. I think we all need it.
Yeah.
But I particularly think you need it, Tom.
But I feel better. I feel better already.
Good. We can treat it like real therapy, but instead of it being private, just broadcasting it live on national radio.
Yeah.
Yeah, like couples therapy on BBC.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, I think that there are quite a lot of shows like that already.
Yeah, there is rather. Although, just want to run this idea by you at the moment, because Hayley came up with it earlier, and I want to kind of stress test it. Sorry, Monty Don making salads. What do you think of that as a TV format?
I think that sounds good.
Yeah.
Stunned silence. That's what it is. Impressed, stunned.
Yeah.
Where did this idea come from, though?
Hayley,
my heart.
Heart. Yeah. She's a Monty Don stan.
Is he an enthused salad baker in life?
He does make salads. If you follow him on Instagram, he just talks about salads a lot. And I can't believe I'm saying this on the radio.
This is why I love Must Watch.
Charlotte Moore, commissionist now.
It's quite sad because his salads have been hit by a hard frost this week.
No.
Very sad.
Oh.
Nightmare. Plot twist.
Of course.
Plot twist, yeah.
He's not just buying a bag of ready washed, is he?
No,
he's not.
No. Oh, the controversy even suggesting such a thing. Take care. Have a great Christmas, Tom. I shall be thinking of you because my son just recently watched The Shining and loved it, actually.
Yeah.
And then he went on to watch Taxi Driver, which is slightly worrying. But I don't think...
That's Easter.
Yeah. He's got the film, and he's got the film for every religious festival. Tom Burke has a movie for you. He can suggest. Yeah. Mate, take care. Good to chat.
Take care.
See ya. Oh, brilliant. Tom Burke there. This is so good.